What if everything you need to transform your life was already there inside you? No, it's not self-help talk, nor magic formula. It is only a truth that nobody told you. The most powerful force that exists does not come from outside. It is born in silence, grows in doubt, and explodes in faith. But there is a detail. It only awakens when you decide to believe. What if I told you that the most powerful force to completely change your life is already inside of you? No, it's not magic, but it seems. Because when you discover this force, everything changes. The things that seemed locked, unlock. The doors that seemed locked open, and the dreams that seemed distant begin to notice you. But wait, why does this force which dwells in you remain dormant? Who was it that convinced you that you needed permission? How many times have you swallowed the will to try? Why didn't you think it was the right time? Or worse, because you didn't think you were enough? You know, there is something curious about the human being. We strongly believe in our limitations and doubt with fear of our possibilities. Have you noticed? Do you have dreams? Of course you do. But the real question is, do you believe that you can realize them? What if what's missing is not luck, time, or talent, but just a different kind of strength? One that does not scream, does not appear on social networks, but quietly builds the impossible. What would happen if you had access to this force today? When I say faith, what comes to mind? A church? A sacred book? A request made in silence before bed? All right, this image is part. But what if I told you that faith is not only about religion? Faith is much more than praying for a miracle. Faith is choosing to continue, even without guarantee. It is to step into the dark trusting that the ground will appear. Faith is a creative force, an energy in motion. It is not passive, it is active. Faith is not waiting sitting, it is building walking. Have you noticed how some people seem to move mountains, while others can't even get out of bed? It's not a coincidence. The difference is in what they believe to be possible. Because here's a simple truth. You only build what you believe to be possible to build. And here comes the point that may provoke you. Is your faith working in your favor or against you? This is what I'm telling you. It's not just nice idea of motivational video. Real people with real stories have lived this truth. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before he invented the lamp. But he did not call it failure. He called it learning, because within him was an unshakable faith. It will work. I just need to figure out how. Henry Ford believed in cars before they became popular. Steve Jobs dreamed of intuitive computers when no one made sense of it. Walt Disney was rejected by dozens of studios before creating an empire born of imagination. All of them, before seeing the world believe, had to believe alone. And you know what they all had in common? Faith. Not a blind faith, but a faith that saw before the eyes could see. Napoleon Hill said, "All that the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." And the Bible, millennia ago, said, "If you have faith the size of a grain of mustard, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move." That is not poetry. It is principle. The question is, have you nurtured this faith, or have you watered more doubt? Reality does not start outside. It is born inside. The life that you live today is, on many levels, the fruit of the seeds you have planted with your mind. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs shape decisions. Decisions build destinies. And all this is born of faith, because faith is the invisible mold of visible reality. Have you stopped to think about it? The mind is a garden. What you plant in it blooms. It can be flower, it can be weed. The choice is yours. And like any garden, what you do not cultivate with intention grows carelessly. And then, without realizing it, you start watering the doubt, feeding the fear, protecting the worst-case scenario. But what if you did something different? What if you treated your faith as a muscle that needs to be trained, strengthened, challenged? Because the more you exercise faith, the more it sustains you when the world shakes. Remember Peter in the biblical story? He walked on the waters, but the moment he looked to the wind, and let the doubt enter, it sank. And you? In which areas of your life has the doubt made you sink when you were born to walk on water? There are days when we wake up and feel that life has stalled, as if something inside of us had forgotten how to move forward. Have you ever felt this? As if there was an invisible wall between what you dream and what you live. As if his soul screamed for movement, but his feet were afraid of the first step. The name of it is stagnation. And you know what often lies behind it? Doubt. Because where fear enters, faith begins to come out. Where insecurity settles, vision is blurred. But hear this. Faith is not absence of fear. Faith is to follow even with fear. Faith is that small flame which insists on remaining lit even when everything seems dark. And it only needs this, a breath of its own, a gesture, a step, a choice, because every great turn begins with an instant of courage. And maybe all your life is waiting for now is a single moment when you say, I believe. Not because everything is right, but because even without seeing, you feel that there is a way. Now tell me, what have you believed lately? Because the truth is that you always believe in something. Sometimes, without realizing it, you think you're not capable. You don't deserve it. You can't. But this is also faith, a distorted faith, directed to the wrong side. What if, just for today, you decided to put your faith in what strengthens you, what expands you, what brings you closer to the life you want to live? Close your eyes now, just for a few seconds. Take a deep breath and ask this question. What reality do I want to start believing in today? Because faith is the starting point, but it can also be the turning point. And maybe, just maybe, this decision of now changes everything that comes after. And now tell me, what part of this text has ignited something inside you? In which area of your life do you feel that your faith needs to awaken? Share in the comments the section that touched you the most. Your story can inspire someone who is in need of that same impulse. Like, share, and send to that person you know carries a dormant force inside of him. Because sometimes, all someone needs to wake up is a message like this. And you? Will you continue feeding the doubt or choose to believe? I see you in the next video.